It's not live yet, but I reckon it'll start in a minute.
Welcome to Parramatta's TIO Stadium. Game 2, Tuesday night, round 7 of Season 3 in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership. Apologies about the delay, a little bit of a traffic jam getting out of the earlier game. The Warriors supporters rioting on the streets after that performance. But it's Parramatta taking on the Cowboys. Jack, a big game for both teams. Cowboys in particular trying to secure that top spot in the semi-finals, while for Parramatta their season is hanging by a thread.
Yeah, they've got to win by 30 plus, I believe, to make finals commish. Yeah, I'd like to apologise for the delay as well. Of course, we got straight in the super taxi to leave Sydney and head to Darwin, but we were held up by some Warriors fans. But there's a really good turnout out here at the moment. Lots of Parramatta jerseys, but we've seen a couple of Cowboys in and around the field as well, so it should be a really good night for all the fans, even with the delay. As for the Cowboys, they showed that they have got the potential to test the big guns in the competition, specifically Manly, after they gave it to them last week in a really niggly, grindy affair. I think they'll be too strong for Parramatta tonight, but it's going to be a closer game than I think most people are giving it credit for.
Well, it's the return of Eli Barnes at fullback, which is, I guess, the big talking point. It's been 3 weeks now since we've seen him in that number 1 jumper with the, I guess, the combinations or the testing out of both Joey Kelly and Damien Shelford in that number 1. But Eli Barnes is back to the 1 tonight. You also see Abraham Walker making his first start in the centres. So that'll be interesting to see how he performs out there with arguably some of the fastest players in the competition. Shelford will pair up with Charlie Butler in the halves. Jaden White at hooker, and Samuel Atchison keeps that number 13 role. You didn't see much of Samuel Atchison play in the lock position at Canberra, but had his first game there last week, Jack, and you know, he performed relatively well. We've seen Patrick Corcoran at the Warriors transition from hooker to lock. But do you think he'll continue to play his career in the number 13?
It's an interesting one, Commish. You know, I think he's a better hooker than he is lock. Obviously, he's, you know, a representative hooker. He's played for Queensland and for Australia in the number 9 jersey, but you know, you look at Patrick Corcoran, he's excelling in that 13 jersey right now, in my opinion. So I think that as he makes a good run there, Atchison actually a good charge. So, you know, I wonder if maybe it is the right decision from Luke Short. Only time will tell. But I think Atchison needs a bit more time to adjust to that role, that's for sure. But so far, he's linking up with his new teammates pretty well. I think he is going to be with Parramatta in Season 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Luke Short is building a handy side at the moment.
It is a bit of a trend in the SRL at the moment, a bit of a transition for, I guess, what you'd call traditionally the first couple of seasons. You'd see one of those, you know, larger, big, muscular players play in the number 13 role, but at the moment we are tending to see more of that smaller type build take that 13 role. Tim James had a game at the number 13 for the Eels before he headed off to Canberra. Bo Sadler's not the biggest of players. I know that he's played a couple of games at lock for the Raiders and possibly the Broncos back in Season 1. So I guess only time will tell to see whether this new body type will suit the SRL.
Yeah, it just depends on the player for me, Commish. Bo Sadler for me is, I guess you could say, the prime example of that it can work. He was just so strong in that lock jersey, especially for Canberra. He used to start the game at hooker, then move to lock when Samuel Robinson came on the field, and it was just a really good combination that they had, and was one of the main reasons for Canberra's success that season. So it really can be a strong move tactically. You need a lot of mobility there. They do a lot of kicking, so having a smaller guy, a more of a half archetype, probably helps in that lock jersey. But you know, it also does help to have a big forward in that lock jersey as well, defensively and with picking up yardage. So it just depends on your style of play and that team and what players they have around them.
Testing kick here for Butler, and Damien Shelford's come away with it. Looks like it was Bunty Kimbolo who could have been at the back underneath it. But Shelford has come through and pinched it and opened the scoring for Parramatta.
What a great kick. Well, I say it's a great kick from Charlie Butler. I actually thought it was way too deep, but the height on it was perfect for Shelford to come straight through, get in front of Cambolo and get a good leap on it. Shelford has obviously been playing a fair bit of fullback in recent weeks, as you alluded to earlier in the call, commish. And, you know, that's a really, really good take from him, definitely alluding to his fullback days not too long ago. So, great start from Parramatta. Shelford, I'm really impressed with how he's played in the past few weeks too. There's been a lot of pressure on him, but he's handled it to perfection.
Parramatta definitely would have identified the, I guess, the nerves that Bunty Kimbolo had under that high ball. He did not look comfortable at all, so it'll be interesting to see if Butler will continue to, or test him out once again, possibly continue throughout the rest of this opening half. 6 points to 0, Parramatta. Early lead here at home. Live from TIO Stadium. Cowboys yet to beat Parramatta in the SRL. The Eels having the rub of the green on both occasions. 18 points to 12 in season 1. 28 points to 6 in season 2. We all remember that game. It was a big performance from Eli Barnes, putting 3 tries on the Cowboys. That was, I guess, a point in the Cowboys season where things probably couldn't have got any worse, and we probably felt like the Eels were going to put more points on the Cowboys that game. I think it was round 6 of season 2. But Eli Barnes was just carving a hot knife through butter that game.
All year he was doing that. He was untouchable last season. Has been pretty frustrating for Parramatta fans that he hasn't been able to have that type of impact this season. But I think the quality of SRL player has grown exponentially in that time. And I also think that obviously the tip sheet is a lot more centered around Barnes. So, you know, obviously Eli's leaving Parramatta at the end of the season, but he's going to look to have a really strong performance in the fullback jersey tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting to see a player go from the highs that Eli Barnes had in season 2 to what he's experiencing in season 3. Only 1 try this season. Only 1 try for Eli Barnes. I mean, that's quite amazing, actually, if you think about it. You know, the SRL Sim VP joint with Chaz Dingo from season 2, 15th in the competition for line breaks. Only 18 line breaks the entire season. Compare that to Chance Bunce with 45. So, yeah, just amazing what an off-season can do. Some player movements around the league. You know, maybe just combinations not working, something happening off the field that we don't know about.
Yeah, Kamish, look, you're talking to the man that was a half of the year last season and one of the last nominations for the Sim VP, and now I'm struggling big time too, so I know all about that for Eli. There's a lot of things that go into performing well, obviously being in that right headspace, and he obviously isn't in that headspace at the moment. He's obviously having some sort of other issues maybe off the field, but he started this game off really strong, and I think that hopefully he can go to Canberra and have a strong impact and get back to that season 2 form.
Cowboys being led by Damien Moana here tonight. They run about 12 metres or 10 metres out from the Parramatta line. Their first real attacking opportunity as Moana's going to put it high. Demando coming through. One of their best for the season, Xavier Demando. Parramatta have re-signed him for season 4. Mentioned earlier on, that Damien Moana captaining the Cowboys tonight. Chris Lord sin-binned last week against Manly. First sin-bin we've seen of the season, Jack.
Yeah, and you know, Parramatta have got to take a real note of that. They've got to take a real note out of that Cowboys game, because usually Cowboys are on top, but you know, the thing that Manly do is they just frustrate teams, and they frustrated the Cowboys so much last game. There was a lot of niggle, things getting really heated, and it resulted in their captain getting sent off. So if they want to be able to shut down the Cowboys tonight, then they've just got to try and try and frustrate them like Manly did.
Manly definitely did get under the skin of North Queensland last week, resulting in that.
Sorry, Commish. You know how good of a sledger Charlie Butler is too, so I'm sure he's out there chirping at the moment. It's going to be a real tough test mentally to see if Cowboys can just ignore the noise. You know, a lot of their fans are probably a bit disappointed that they couldn't get closer to Manly, given they are second and Manly are first. So they've just got to try and block out the noise and just play footy tonight.
Final tackle now, back to Moana. Decides to run it for a moment, then at the last second decided to put the kick in. It hasn't come off either. Sam Atchison just trapping it between the ankles and stopping it from heading in towards Eli Barnes in that infield. So the Eels will have ball as Barnes receives a good pass. Short ball. Joey Kelly on the outside. Chased down and a good tackle by Tyler Almatangi. Is it? No. I'm not sure who that is. It could be. Looked like number 8. Is that Robbo Mobiston? Reynolds to play the ball on the 10.
No markers.
Downey charging it forward. Good pumping the legs. Driving forward about a metre short here. Options to the left if they want it. White does come left. Butler goes right. Hasn't quite got the depth he would have liked. And the end of the set has come to nothing really. He had a good burst down that right hand edge. Started by Joey Kelly. But to be honest, he was run down.
Yeah, it was a great chase. Really good effort from whoever chased him down there from the Cowboys. But that kick from Butler was not good enough. And, you know, I think I noticed Damian Moana definitely gave it to him during the changeover. So I think those two are going at it a little bit out on the field. But, you know, it's definitely a frustrating end to the set for Parramatta. But, wow, that was some scintillating attack down the right-hand side. It was, I believe, Shelford that linked up with a beautiful no-look pass to Eli Barnes, who then threw a awesome flick pass out to the wing of Kelly, and I thought for sure he was in, but it was a great chase from the Cowboys. Good desperation as Barnes is away.
Barnes versus Almatangi. Good covering defence on the senior player, which was Eli Barnes.
Barnes had a really good start to this game, really involved.
Possibly his swan song, knowing that they need to put points on North Queensland. Butler throws a dummy on the inside, decides to take it to the line, gets a good quick play the ball as well as White darts from dummy half inside the Cowboys 10. A good dart for the final tackle. It'll set it up for Butler, who once again's gone to that right side, but he had again a little bit too shallow and not getting the depth they would have liked.
It's really weird, Butler kicking at the moment. You know, his first kick that led to a try was probably a little bit too deep. Now they're too shallow. I think he needs to just calm himself down, or maybe Jaden White or Shelford needs to take a bit of the kicking. Of course, Shelford has mainly played fullback in the past few weeks, so maybe Butler's trying to take a lot of that responsibility. But good pressure from the Cowboys kick chase as well.
Kobe Johnson from dummy half, playing in the backs this week. Mentioned earlier on the Abraham Walker starting in the number 3 jumper. Same for Kobe Johnson. Forced changes because of that suspension or that sin binning of Chris Lord. Cowboys having to fiddle around a little bit. That's the only real change you see at the Cowboys. They don't tend to make too many. I suppose Kieran Wells starting in the number 9 is the only other major difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think Wells has been one of their best performers off the bench for the Cowboys, but, you know, it's not too hard to forget that Kobe Johnson last season was the Parramatta captain, so I'm sure there's plenty of sledging going towards him at the moment too. I've definitely heard Trader come flying out from some Parramatta players before and during the game, so, you know, another one to keep an eye on. Johnson seems really fired up and really keen to take some possession as well.
Testing that wing of Kimbolo still. It's the third time in a row that Charlie Butler has gone out to the wing of Bunty Kimbolo. Not a bad choice when you've got Luka Moscow on the other wing. We all know the danger that he possesses. The Eels sticking to a game plan at the moment. He's had a pretty good season, hasn't he, Luka Moscow? 4 tries, averaging 128 metres per game, and he'll be a big loss for the Cowboys as they do come that near side. It's Butler who just sticks the foot out as Moana tried to thread a needle. I think he was looking for, I think it was Kobe Johnston running through that wing of Luka Moscow, that Charlie Butler reading it well.
Yeah, and the tongue went straight out. He's giving it to the Cowboys halves at the moment. But, you know, you touch on Luka Moscow. He's had arguably a career best season. He played for Queensland in their series-winning series earlier in the season. He's having a really good season. I think he's probably up there for... I think he probably should be on the Kangaroos' wings, to be honest with you. I don't see many other people, as that's a knock-on from Parramatta. But yeah, I don't really see anyone else apart from Joey Kelly that could take that spot from him. So he's a really big loss for the Cowboys.
Joey Kelly and Luka Moscow probably are the top Queensland, or the top Kangaroos option. And you got Kane Chapman-Kenny, who I guess you could say is transitioning into that fullback role at the moment. Tyler Clay has been consistent for the Seagulls. Obviously leaving at the end of the season. Off to the Rabbitohs from memory.
Yeah, that's right. Jacob Morrison's an option. He is playing on the wing for Canberra. If he puts in a good showing, he's one of the fastest men in the comp. Because obviously Morrison, he's missed out. He likely missed out on that centre spot. I think there's some other centres that are definitely beating him for that spot. He could be an option, but yeah, like, you know, we're really grasping at straws, to be honest. I think that it's
Michael
Kelly
Cripp
and Moscow. When you Crimp's a good, that's a really good option, actually. I haven't even thought of him, but
Jai Collins.
Jai, I think he's Tongan, isn't he? I think he's...
Oh, you're right, he is Tongan. Yeah, fluent. Settendag on the park, his first touch from what it seems. Attila Settendag, one player that really has bulked up this season. Noticeable compared to season 2. The shoulders look to be about twice the size compared to what they were. As the man of the moment, Moscow returns it well, gets away from Butler, can't escape the grasps of Eli Barnes. But the Cowboys over the halfway line early in the set.
He heard you suggest Jai Collins for his wing spot in the Kangaroos jersey, and he was offended there, Commish.
Oh, what?
He heard you suggest Jai Collins for that wing spot that he wants so badly, and I think he was offended and had to prove you wrong. That was a great run. Cowboys are on the attack now, but they haven't really been able to find inroads since that run. Parramatta are defending well.
They are defending very well at the moment. 33 coming up, 34 minutes gone. The Cowboys forced a kick from just inside Parramatta's half, and all they can really do is send it down the throat of Xavier Demando. So counting down to half time. Players on each side looking to make their way onto the park for the Cowboys. Looks like Johnny Columbus is warming up on the sideline. Zach Smith as well, looking to make his way on at half time for the Eels. Stephen Cross and Taj Seabold. Can't see them at the moment. Oh, in fact, they're coming down the tunnel as I speak. Shelford will kick on the final. Again, peppering that wing of Bunty Kimbolo, who gets through this time for the first line break of the first half for Bunty Kimbolo, who's caught by Eli Barnes. but he's made himself all the way up to the Parramatta 10, and a good quick play the ball as well, as Cooper Gronk is on the edge of some great passing. Parramatta caught out. A great bust from Bunty Kimbolo. Quick play the ball, and Cooper Gronk goes in on the right-hand side.
Yeah, the Cowboys, they go bang, bang. You know, Parramatta, they've defended so strongly, but all of a sudden just a lapse in defensive concentration, and through goes Kimbolo, and then from there they straight away go down to that lethal right-hand side. They were shot for numbers, and Cooper Gronk, he reaps the rewards. Great fight back from the Cowboys.
Locked up, 6 apiece. Live from TIO Stadium. A reminder, tomorrow night on SRL TV, it's the Penrith Panthers. Last game of the season at home, taking on the Canberra Raiders. Yet to register a win this season, Penrith. It's been a tough 6 or so weeks, and they will be looking to turn the tides on that tomorrow night against your Canberra Raiders, Jack. I'm sure you guys will be looking to do the opposite.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about the Panthers, if I'm honest, because I think that, you know, they're going to be really fired up. They got nothing to lose, where we've still, realistically, we've got our whole season to lose. So, you know, it's going to be a real entertaining game. I think it's going to be really physical, and it's going to be a, you know, it's going to be a blockbuster. I think that, to be honest, I'm more pumped for that game than Broncos in South Sydney, as that's a really good early kick from Wallace as he kicked the 40-20. No, good balance from Barnes, and he's away. Good result from Parramatta, unless he goes out, which he does. Sorry, everybody. Commentators curse if there's ever been one.
The experience of Eli Barnes, that's not the sort of play Luke Short would have been hoping for with just over a minute remaining until half-time. The Cowboys will get one final opportunity.
Yeah, what an effort from those Cowboys. Chases Cooper Gronk in there. I think Tyler Amatagi was the other guy to bundle Barnes away. Now they've got a really dangerous scrum play. We know how dangerous they can be, as Johnston breaks straight through, doesn't have the pace to beat one of his defenders. But yeah, the Cowboys, they're rolling down now. They've got a chance to all of a sudden take the lead. They'll probably get one more play.
30 seconds remaining in the first 40 minutes. Mobiston is found on the inside. They stay right. Kasaka cutting back on in. Good defence by Parramatta. They get a good quick play the ball. Moana has a support player, and Robbo Mobiston outside. Won't need him. We're locked up. 6-all. Half time here at TIO Stadium. Half time here at TIO Stadium, and it's the Eels and the Cowboys locked up at 6 apiece, Jack.
Yeah, really entertaining first half. I really enjoyed the involvement from Eli Barnes. We know he's obviously been struggling a little bit for form, but he had a really good involvement, but made a couple little errors at the back too that I don't think that Luke Short will obviously have to iron out. But Parramatta, they gave it to Cowboys for basically that entire half, but it was just one lapse in concentration that has costed them the lead at 6 apiece now, all to play for in the second half.
Both teams handling wise doing pretty well. Only 3 errors in total throughout the game. And so it'll be interesting to know what the captains will be saying at half-time. The Cowboys definitely seem to have had the better of the Eels the last 10 minutes or so in that first 40 minutes. But Eli Barnes definitely stepping up for Parramatta at the back. But in that second quarter, definitely felt the Cowboys with Chris Lord coming onto the park and Jamal Kasakau making some good runs. We are set for a big second half, set to get underway very soon. Welcome back to SRL action on Tuesday night, live from TIO Stadium, Parramatta's home ground. Second 40 underway. It's locked up 6 apiece at the moment. Parramatta scoring early in that first half. Cooper Gronk answered after a good bust from Bunty Kimbolo late in the second half, and the Cowboys clinching it back to level up at the half-time break. But Jack, much to play for in the second 40. The Eels know their season is on the line. They will need a lot more points in the second 40 minutes. And the Cowboys will want the second half to really solidify that second half, that semi-final spot.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned points for Parramatta. They were really dominant for that half with a lot of points, but they only managed to register 6 points. And they had control all the way up to about that 30th minute before, that's a really poor pass from Charlie Butler. But before the Cowboys seemed to regain control, I just got a message from Call Pent, who of course is sniffing around in the sheds. Apparently there was an altercation at half-time between Charlie Butler, Damien Moana and Rohan Kaval. Luke Short and Chris Lord had to step in to separate the 3 halves. So, I think it's going to be a real fiery second half here from both sides. It's going to be interesting to see who can, contain that real frustration that the other team is setting in and post some points and come away with the win.
Interesting to hear. Charlie Butler, chance bunts. Not too sure what Rohan Kaval was in there for. But nevertheless, it's the Cowboys with the ball at the moment. It's Moana. Good support play. Finds himself around about 15 metres out. Final tackle now as Wells goes back to the pocket. Wallace kicks it. And the Cowboys have given away a needless penalty on the final tackle.
Yeah, really bad end to the set. They've just made... they've just honestly made... just given away all the pressure that they just put on Parramatta. Sorry, I'm absolutely dribbling at the moment. Parramatta, they let them off the hook early, Parramatta, with that poor pass from Charlie Butler. And then the Cowboys did the exact same thing. They could have posted some pressure and really took control of this second half. But all of a sudden, the Cowboys, as they give away a penalty now, they are getting frustrated. We saw this against Manly.
You mentioned it earlier on, Charlie Butler. He knows how to get under the skin. And the Cowboys, they were tested last week against Manly, and I'm not sure if they know how to respond to some of the sort of pressure that comes from some of these senior teams in the SRL. Charlie Butler's been around since season 1, won that semi-final for the Eels that got them into the final. He knows exactly what he's doing as he has the ball now. About 9 metres out, Parramatta looking to strike first. Barnes taking the line on. The hole opened up, it closed just as fast. Gets a quick play the ball. Shelford had number 14 on the outside, close to the ball. The Eels, they have to go to Joey Kelly. Has been relatively quiet here tonight. He's hanging out this near touch line, but they're staying centre field. Cross going forward.
Ooh.
They'll get the ball close to the line here. Final tackle for the toe. Butler on the toe.
Yeah.
He recollects, and Charlie Butler has answered his critics, and he dots down for Parramatta. First try of the second half.
Yeah, a bit of luck there for Parramatta, but I don't think it's affecting how much Charlie Butler's celebrating that one. He put the grubber kick in, came off the legs of a Cowboy, he picks it straight back up.
Thomas
and
Wallace.
He slides in for a try. Thomas Wallace, and he let Thomas Wallace know about it too. Let me tell you, Tyler Amatagi might have hit him a bit late there. While he scored the try, he definitely gave it to him too, but he's giving it to everyone tonight, Charlie. He's fired up. I'm loving this game. I'm loving the passion.
Cowboys do look a little bit lost at the moment at defence. Their players just looking around, maybe expecting someone else to make the tackle, but you know, they won't want this game to slip away. Looking at the table, just having a look at it right now. The Cowboys were plus 22 before this game, so you know it's going to be hard for them to be overtaken by anyone apart from the Rabbitohs. The Broncos will be obviously fighting it out to get that 4th spot with the Warriors, and same with Canberra, who are -11 at the moment. So unless Canberra has a big win against Penrith, then the top 3 really are locked up, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you on that one.
At 12 points to 6 here at TIO Stadium. The Simulation Rugby League Premiership set to enter into its 4th season. Dates still to be announced, but with the SRL minds well and truly entrenched, 36 new players hoping to gain a spot into the SRL Premiership. And I know, Jack, you guys at the Canberra Raiders have your eyes on a bunch of them at the moment, and you know, what have you got to say to some of these Mines players who might be watching and sort of wondering how they can get into the SRL Premiership? You know, what do they need to do both on and off the field that might help their chances?
Yeah, look, I can confirm Canberra definitely have been sniffing around a couple of the Mines dressing sheds. Have been sending plenty of people to go and chat to them. We've got a lot of people with some good stature in the game, so it's been really good to talk to some of these new young players. But I think the main
sliding into a few DMs.
Oh, always. I do that all the time, even outside the SRL. But no, just on, you know, what they can do to get themselves back into this competition. The main thing is just come off as respectful and come off as somebody that's eager to be part of the community. You know, captains are looking for people that are going to be good to fit into their club. The thing about Mines players is they're all realistically around the same skill level. So it's really is just more about personality. It's more about how you're going to mix with the playing group. That is what the captains are looking for. So that's probably my main advice I would give to any Mines players looking to step up into the SRL next season.
You're right, Jack. You know, we've seen not a great kick by Charlie Butler. He's had a mixed game with boot to ball today, but interesting what you say, and you're right. It's all about personality, and we've seen a big switch in that over the first couple of seasons compared to season 1, where you know it was all about just getting into the SRL. You know, season 2 and season 3, as we see the Cowboys knock it on, fall into the grasp of Joey Kelly. Has it touched the hand though? It may not have. Yeah, it's a Cowboys feed to the scrum. Controversial. But yeah, definitely personality comes into it a lot at the moment. They want, you know, respect. They want commitment to the side, and being the best player doesn't necessarily get you in the best team nowadays.
No, and you know, the thing about the captains is they're a pretty tight-knit bunch. They talk a lot about players, so if you disrespect one captain, disrespect one player, everyone's going to hear about it pretty quickly, so you've got to try and be a clean skin. I think that they called a falcon there from the Cowboys player. Commissioner just had a look at the replay, so I think that's why they feed it wasn't played at, and then Kelly caught it and put the foot on the sideline. So the Cowboys, they're on the attack. This is their chance to retake this game, I suppose, lock it back up.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. 54 minutes gone. I thought for a moment Wallace might have tried to offload that one. He's been held in the tackle. Not the best end of the set they would have been hoping for. Chris Lord on the sideline. And I can see him down below us. They've got this white box that they have to stay within in their the interchange bench. And I can see Chris Lord walking outside of that box and just sort of testing the boundaries of the officials. And he's just being told right now to make his way back into that sort of painted box area. So the captain of the Cowboys on the edge of his seat at the moment, his side trailing at the moment, 12 points to 6. Still plenty of time to go, but both teams making mistakes as we see Charlie Butler once again kicking into his own player.
And I just watched Rohan Kaval. He came sprinting in all the way from the right-hand side just to give him a rub on the head. He loves these errors that Charlie's making. Of course, they've been giving it to each other all night. So, you know, a win for the Cowboys. They can try and clock some points now or get a repeat set, but they've got to hold on to this ball and they've got to get to the end of this set if they don't find points.
Yep, big opportunity inside the Parramatta 20 as Wallace takes on the line once again. Good quick play the ball for Wells. De Pace decides not to give it to Robbo Mobiston, who was just on the outside fighting for a quick play the ball.
Yeah,
Parramatta players offside. Coming up and collecting. It looks like it was Kieran Wells who was hit without the ball. Referee Rasmussen allows play to continue. And I'd love to see a replay of that one. Parramatta really needing to get outside of their half at the moment.
That's two very controversial calls, and Parramatta will take them. The first one, that they were really wrestling at that play the ball. I thought for sure it was held in tackle, and then from there they just hit a player pretty blatantly without the ball, but the referee must have thought at least a little bit of the ball touched the Cowboys player before the Eels player made contact. There's another kick from Charlie Butler.
It's a horrible kick from Butler. Gets through one. He breaks another Amatangi. Charlie Butler is really putting his team under pressure at the moment. Wells to Wallace, his hooking partner, close to the line.
And
Thomas Wallace, too much power from the young number 13. And the Cowboys, as we go upstairs, look to have scored.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely put this one down. Charlie Butler, his side of defended really well, but his kicking has really let them down. He's gotten away with some absolute shocking kicks tonight, but he didn't get away with that one, and his teammates are not happy with him for his kicking at the moment. I think Luke Short has gone straight up to him, and I think his message will be, mate, stop the sledging until your kicking starts improving, because they're out kicking you, the Cowboys halves. And great commitment by the Cowboys, especially Thomas Wallace. He got close a couple sets ago, tried it on the fifth, which probably wasn't the right idea, but it didn't deter him. He tried again, and this time he reaps the rewards.
Frustrating for Eels supporters after defending so well for much of the second half, counting down towards 60 minutes. A reminder that the finals format has changed for season 3.
Oh yeah.
The top 2 teams will play each other in the first semi-final. The winner of that game going straight through to the grand final. The loser of that game will play the winner of the second semi-final, which is the team that finishes 3rd on the table and the team that finishes 4th. So the Cowboys really wanting to lock up that top spot with or that second spot, you'd have to say, with a win here tonight. They got the Rabbitohs right on their toes or right on their heels. And that extra life really gives you a lot of confidence going into that big finals. Almatangi collects a good ball from Moana that can't break past Eli Barnes. Damien Moana trying the Chaz Dingo.
Yeah, no one could do a Chaz Dingo like Chaz Dingo, but you know, just to touch on what you... Oh, that's a big shot. I think it was Cambolo.
Eli Barnes spilling the ball. Bunty Cambolo just throwing the shoulder down. And the Cowboys, well, they've got a chance to go bang, bang. Flat to Callum Irwin. Kieran Wells, great play from the ruck at the moment. Big numbers to the left. They come left. They go short to Almatangi. Finds Johnny Columbus. But big defence on Johnny Columbus.
I think it was the skipper. No, it was Attila.
Attila Settendag.
Oh.
With their season on the line. Parramatta. Seabold breaks up through the line. Out to the 30. Just needing to get outside their half here, the Eels.
They need a good set, a good kick at the end of this set. It is crucial. I don't think the Eels can keep up.
Do they go to Shelford
like that any longer? Yeah, I think Shelford needs to put his hand up and take a kick because Butler's not having a good night with the boot at the moment. They're heading down the right-hand side where Shelford has been.
Yeah, he's
maybe
lining
Atchison.
Up. Could be Jaden White. Yeah, it will be Jaden White.
Good decision, and it's a great kick too. Looking like maybe a 40-20. No, the bounce was unlucky. But yeah, he needs to take a few more kicks, I think. That was a good kick from Jaden White.
Confidence is a real thing in the SRL, and may have had a good first half, Charlie Butler, but the nerves seem to be getting hold of him at the moment.
Yeah, 15 minutes left to go in this game. It's up to both teams' spines to win this game for them. Get their teams in the right positions where they want them and manage their team home. Oh, as Cambolo breaks straight through. Oh, he's got the speed.
Big run from Bunty Cambolo. A hard man to stop at the best of times, but one-on-one's even harder. Irwin, tackle 5 now for the Cowboys. About 1.5 meters out. They've got big numbers to the right. They're going to go right. They haven't collected that very well at all. Moana had a player in front of him. Miscommunication there and another error for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's really let them down. Cambolo, what an inspiring run, as this time it's the Cowboys with Damien Moana holding down long in the tackle. But it's been a lot of wrestling, a lot of tactics in this game, but you know, the Cowboys are just not quite finding that pass. They just can't quite put the Eels away at the moment. The Eels, they're just not going away, and it's really good to see. They're really giving it to the Cowboys, even though they're not playing their best game. Shelford, there he goes. Oh, but that's a poor pass straight to Cambolo.
Man of the moment, Bunty Cambolo.
He is having a huge second half.
Sticking their hands out, and the ball sticks to it. So the Cowboys, more ball in the Eels half. This has been unbelievable. This whole second half has pretty much been down in the Eels 40, or the Eels 50. Wallace, it's a big second half from him. Thomas, Moana, on in the inside to Cooper Gronk.
Might look for a field goal here.
They might, they're setting up, still 12 minutes out. Early to go for a field goal, but you never know. They go back to Moana, thinks about it for a moment, decides to put it high, and because he was in two minds, it goes a little bit too deep. And Xavier Demando comes away with it.
That was only inches away from being the perfect kick from, but Demando makes a really strong take. Got back into the in goal before he took it. Of course, now the Eels, they can't make any more silly errors. They've got to get down that end, keep the Cowboys in the corners, and maybe look to set up for a field goal in the next set or try and find points. But they need some good field position, and they need to control this game.
They look incredibly unorganised at the moment. They're struggling for confidence. Jaden White looks to be taking a little bit of the lead at the moment. Shelford into the 40 for the first time in a long time, Parramatta. Inside the Cowboys half. Final tackle now, 32 metres out. On this right-hand side of the park, it's Shelford to kick. He sends it across field to Luka Moscow. A big moment in the game. He gets away from one. He's got Barnes coming across. Barnes looks to have him covered. Moscow up to the 10. But once again, the Cowboys are going to lay the heat on Parramatta's line. Moana, cut out ball to Johnston. Good defence from Abraham Walker. Coming up on his opposite. Still, tackles remaining as Moana goes flat to Kambolo. He smashes through the defence, but the referees called a forward pass.
I think it was the right call there from Vigo. That was the first inkling I got when I saw that pass thrown, but the Cowboys are now, they're really fired up defensively. They're really finishing this game strong, but again, they just can't ice those final moments. It's just really disappointing from a side in second position.
How exciting is Bunty Kambolo?
Oh man, he could be anything in the next couple of seasons.
Interesting call by the Cowboys. They took him off at half-time and they brought on Johnny Columbus. And then in the way the interchanges work, Kambolo's come back on in the second row. And I don't know if that was a planned move from the Cowboys leadership team, but I think he looks pretty good in the second row.
I reckon that might be their secret weapon for the finals, as long as this result goes, all the results go the way they need it. But, you know, he could really trouble a Manly in the back end of those second halves as he almost breaks through again. He is really lighting up this game at the moment. You'd almost say he's been the Cowboys' best player, and he was subbed off, and he started on the wing.
Making big impressions at the moment, Bunty Kambolo with the ball once again, charging hard into the line. Big defence by Jaden White, half the size of big Bunty Kambolo. But well up to it, they could very well look for a field goal. Probably not on the final. They don't tend to do that, unfortunately, as Moana puts it high. Columbus comes through. But Damien Shelford takes him down. But I'll tell you what, if the Cowboys can force an error, which I wouldn't put it past them, the Eels are looking out on their feet at the moment.
I'm going to be honest, if they just let the Eels get through this set, they're going to get the ball in good field position the way the Eels have been kicking. They need to kick well at the end of this set. Obviously focus on holding the ball, but by God, if they don't get a good kick away here, they could be in a lot of trouble, as that was pretty blatant, maybe a penalty there for Parramatta. They were blowing up Deluxe, but you know, it's been one of those games where there's been a lot of free reign to hold down.
40-20. Damien Shelford, straight down the ground. He doesn't get a lot of territory as well. Parramatta are playing into the wind in the second half, but it's not much of wind to talk to. It's only about 3 or 4 knots, so it's not a huge gusts of wind we're seeing. But the Cowboys, like you said, Jack, good territory early in their set, but Parramatta, third tackle now, they're still in their own half. Where's your man, Bunty Kambolo? Give it to Bunty.
On the right. No, they've gone left.
They go to Columbus. Near side, run underneath it. Chris Lord is still up on his feet this whole second half. He needs to get back on. But I think they've used all their interchange bench players as Kelly gets the ball. Where has Joey Kelly been in this game?
Yeah, the Cowboys have really managed where Kelly gets the ball. They've done really well in that department. Honestly, he's done it again. It's Kambolo. Give him the ball. Let him try and kick the field goal. He's doing everything else.
Big shot on Damien Shelford. Bunty Kambolo. What a performance. He wants a try. He doesn't want a field goal. But the Cowboys setting it up here to win it with less than 2 minutes remaining. It's Irwin. 8 metres out. Centre field. Will they go drop goal? They go right to Almatangi. Finds Moscow, who cuts back on the inside. Testing on the outside shoulder of some of these tiring Parramatta players.
No.
Gronk goes close. Surely the Cowboys go for the field goal soon. Wallace to Irwin. No, this defence from Parramatta.
He's in the pocket.
Final tackle now. They go back to Moana. Moana slots the field goal. The captain, the stand-in, Damien Moana, slots it for the Cowboys. Breaks the heart of Parramatta.
Damien Moana, he has had a hot and cold performance. He got caught into the niggle a fair bit, but that is an ice-cold field goal. You know, I was getting a bit worried in that set. The Cowboys, they were looking for the kill. Parramatta's defence was outstanding. It was something to behold, but, you know, the Cowboys, they've had all the ball in the second half, and, you know, the Eels, they'll rue their lost chances as the sirens going to stand.
Defensively, Parramatta so strong for 88 minutes of that game. Sorry, 78 minutes of that game. You have to say, Jack, second half kicking for Parramatta, just not good enough at this level of rugby league.
No, and the other thing, you know, they were so good, but it was that 2 minute lapse of concentration right before the end of the first half. It got the Cowboys back into it. That took a lot of running out of Parramatta, but you look at that tackle count. You look at the error count from both sides for a side that's coming second from the Cowboys. That is not a good performance either, but yeah, the Parramatta spine, I think that Luke Short should definitely look at his options heading into next season, as that's the end of the season for Parramatta, but the Cowboys, they roll on to the semi-finals.
That's right, Jack, the first team to be eliminated from Season 3 of the SRL, Parramatta, the premiers in Season 1, making the finals in Season 2, knocked out in the first week in the semis. Season 3, they will not take any further participation. And Mad Monday, or could we say Mad Thursday, as Parramatta in their season. But it was a sloppy first half, you'd have to say. But in the second half, the Cowboys, you know, you'd have to say, I don't know how much percentage of territory they had, but it felt like around that 70 to 80% of territory, the Cowboys just constantly hammering away at that Parramatta line. And to their credit, Parramatta defensively very good tonight. But I don't want to single anyone out, but Charlie Butler's kicking, it just wasn't up to scratch.
Yeah, look, I wonder if maybe he was practicing his sledges all week at training, because he was very, very on point when it came to giving it to the Cowboys. When it came to his kicking, it was not strong. We look at the kick meters gained, 145. He had 7 kicks. That's really not good enough for a senior player. Then you look at Shelford, he had 171 kick meters for 5 kicks. Jaden White took 2 kicks and made 86, so maybe White should have had a little bit more involvement with the kicking. But yeah, for me, it's just that. It's the game management that has really let down Parramatta tonight.
Joey Kelly, 3 runs for the whole night.
Yeah, I think we've got to give credit to the Cowboys for that. Joey loves to get the ball on kick returns. That's when he plays his best footy. He doesn't really like to ruck it out and take those tough hit-ups, so they just kept kicking and peppering Xavier Demando, who I think actually did a really admirable job. He ended up having 7 runs for 72 metres, but, you know, it's a tough old game, rugby league, and
not many
Cowboys,
forwards. Yeah, not many forwards stepping up either. I mean, not one forward making it into the hundreds. I guess Samuel Atchison played 13, but some of these big forwards for the Eels not stepping up. Sittendag, Short, Jacob Reynolds, I felt had a pretty good second half. Samuel Lillard was sort of nowhere to be seen. Abraham Walker was playing in the centres. So yeah, the Eels really felt like they fell off that second half. Maybe the last quarter of the game. And then we look at the Cowboys here. You know, some big minutes from some of their big players, especially Kobe Johnson, Jamal Kosaka. Kobe Johnson not necessarily used to playing 80 minutes, but playing in the back line tonight defensively, you know, very quiet, but, you know, 17 runs for a centre, not bad.
No, he got really involved. It was good to see. You could really tell he wanted to give it to Parramatta, obviously. Bit of an unhappy breakup there between himself and the club. I want to give obviously, you know, we've got to talk about him. Bunty Cambolo. he's been really good all season, but that was superstar levels of performance. Like, you look at how Chaz Dingo played in the last game. Cambolo was on that level tonight. I'm not saying he's on Dingo's level because he's not yet in his career, but you know, that was easily his best performance of his career, and to some extent, he's what kept the Cowboys in the game at times. Like, he got them out of trouble whenever they needed it. He was breaking tackles. He was making huge hits. I think he forced 2 errors. He was really, really strong. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how he develops as a player.
Very impressive game. Thomas Wallace had a good one as well, playing in the number 13 jumper tonight with Chris Lord being on the bench. 31 tackles, 113 metres, another solid performance from one of the premier hookers in the competition. And Damien Moana, you know, still putting his hand up, along with Rohan Kaval, as one of the best halves pairing in the competition.
Yeah, for sure. Just a wrap for Thomas Wallace, of course, being moved into that lock position. I think the way that their rotation works, correct me if I'm wrong, but he'll start at hooker, then move to lock, and Kieran Wells usually comes on at hooker. Is that correct?
Normally, yeah. Kieran started tonight, played the full 80 minutes at hooker. But yeah, normally it would be Wallace starting at the 9, and then Wells coming on the second 40. But with that injury to Chris Lord, you know, not injury, sorry, the sin bin to Chris Lord last week, those forced changes saw Wallace starting at 13. But overall, the Cowboys, they secure second spot in the season 3 standings. And I guess, have they secured it?
As far as I know, I think they were a bit above the Rabbitohs.
Actually, no, I think I'm speaking too soon. I'm speaking too soon. So the Cowboys now move up to 10 points. Their points differential was plus 23.
Ooh, that's a good point. You do make a good point, actually.
The Rabbitohs
So,
are on
Sydney.
8 points, so they're 2 points behind the Rabbitohs. They're playing the Broncos tomorrow night. They are currently plus 15.
Well, you know what? Depending on what Broncos turn up, you know, it could be the real spirited Broncos that really make it a game, but if it's the Broncos we saw last week against the Warriors and we've seen in their poorer performances this season, South Sydney could put on a good score, and they've only got to win by more than 7, and they take second place from the Cowboys, and they'll face Manly in week 1 of the finals.
That's right. Make sure to join us tomorrow night for Wednesday night action in the Simulation Rugby League. But again, once again, Jack, thanks for joining me. It's good having someone else up here in the commentary box with me.
Yeah, I know. Someone's got to go get your chips from you, which is surprising considering all the money you get from this. I thought that you'd be able to hire someone to do that for you.
Exactly. Just don't forget the tea sauce next time, eh?
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind, my brother.
Okay, we'll see everyone later. Bye-bye.